All right, folks, it is Saturday already, and we'll be talking about some things. So let me get started. Heat and humidity will continue. There'll be a few storms in the forecast, and some of those could be severe. I'll have some details on that, especially the near-term threat. And a cold front. I'll put that cold in quotation marks. It's not going to be the kind of front that you want to ease up this humidity, but it'll make a little bit of a difference. But the truth is, it's coming in quicker but weaker than earlier expected. All right, so let's get into the meat of things. So look at radar, where we see a little storm complex to the northeast of us there, working through portions headed toward the Delta country. I don't think that bothers us, but as we look off to the west, the dry line feature is taking shape out there, and some supercell storms are developing along that. There will be a little bit of organization with a convective type system develop out in that direction, head eastward, kind of drive down east along I-20, and could get into some of our northern parishes later on this evening or during the early overnight period. So I'll have some details on that coming up. Here's the dry line feature. Remember, this is a moisture boundary. It's an important regional climate feature in the southern plains. So to the west of the dry line, it's dry and hot. Ahead of it, to the east of it, it's warm and humid. Okay, so in that contrast, you see these storm bubble clusters coming up, developing there across portions of Texas and extending into southern Oklahoma and central Oklahoma. And then here's that little smaller complex across heading toward the Delta country. So we look for something to develop and kind of congeal into a complex in this particular area. And again, head east along I-20. So severe outlook for today and tonight. The focused area will be across portions of North Texas, southern Oklahoma, and the Arklatex there. Notice how we just kind of have it across North Louisiana in a basic sense. So here's the severe threats for us, and I'll give the parishes in just a bit. Overall, it's a limited threat. You can see that all the bars with the bar graph I like to use with this kind of, you immediately get a gauge of the potential that everything is low. Overall threat is low. Wind and hail will be the two main threats. The potential there is low as well. Tornadoes very low, but not zero. And then flood risk, I just pretty much took that out, and that's going to be close enough to zero to kind of ignore that. So Sabine, Natchitoches, Wynne, Grant, and LaSalle parishes between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. There's a little window of time where we could have some severe weather. The threat level during that time period is marginal, a 1 out of 5 category there. Now the risk levels within 25 miles of a point, and this gives you an idea or kind of quantifies the risk level for you, gives you a number. And this is based on important verification research of forecasts. So the risk level within 25 miles of a point for tornadoes in this situation is less than 2% in those parishes. Risk levels of wind and hail are about the same, between 2 and 5% there within 25 miles. Now the pattern, there's a feature loft coming through, disturbance as I call it. There's plenty of instability, especially across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and that enhanced bullseye that you saw back up to the northwest of us. We've got some instability here as well because it's warm and humid all over this part of the country. And we'll see what that Texas convective system organizes into and how it moves and handles the instability. If it gets here too late, there probably won't be much to it. It could miss us to the north of the parish as indicated here. So Nick and I will be watching that though for the details, and if anything happens, we'll pass it along. So monitor your weather sources later on for this evening. Futurecast then, I'm using the GFS model. So by this evening, we see this dip in the jet stream out west, a cool bubble of air. So remember, cool colors and warm colors. Much of the weather that we get is determined by the interaction of these big blobs of air with contrasting characteristics, mainly temperature and moisture. So you can see that pattern. Now let me go forward into early next week, say Monday morning, about the time you're heading to work, and if you got to go to school. All right, so the feature gets a little bit more pronounced, kind of widens out a little bit, gets across the southern Rockies, heading into the plains there. And then notice that moves to the north of us, okay? Most of that energy is going to stay to the north of us, so at best, we get a glancing blow on the southern side of that system. That's good news. We don't want a direct hit, but the glancing blow is going to be enough to stir up a few storms out of that. Beyond that, we see that the warm air continues to dominate our forecast. The cool bubble of air and all this is kind of pushed to the north. This model, GFS, may be overdone on this ridge, but look at this towering ridge that extends into southern Canada there. So that warm air really punching far to the north over in that part of the world. So the severe outlook for tomorrow becomes more focused to the north of us across portions of Kansas and kind of retreats away from us for a couple of days. Here's another focused area, once again extending from far north Texas into Kansas, Missouri, and some of those other locations up in that direction. And then finally, Tuesday, once again, we'll have a little bit of a threat on the southwest side of this area. Once again, the focus of this will be to the northeast of us, across northern Mississippi and Alabama, and much of Tennessee. So let's get into some details here for the short term. This is a short term or high resolution model as opposed to the GFS, which the resolution is a little bit more coarse as far as the grid is concerned. This model is one that I'm indicating that this is going to miss the area. You see that barely getting into our northern parishes there. I feel comfortable with a little bit farther southern extension of that maybe because of the instability that is left over. But you see that model presents really no threat for us. But again, that's just one run. And the models many times are inconsistent with these type things. Church time Sunday morning, I don't think there'll be any problem there except the humidity, but we're getting used to that. All right, Sunday evening, evening service or something like that going on. We've got a pretty good forecast there going into Monday for your commute. Once again, very warm start on Monday evening for your commute back home. No problems with that. So in summary, here's your 7-day forecast, putting all of this together. Very warm the next 3 days through Tuesday. You can see the numbers there. I did throw in kind of a 10% on Sunday just in case there's a stray shower or a thunderstorm somewhere in the Cenla. The front, I've moved it up to the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Remember, I did have it all on Wednesday. So the front coming in a little quicker. There's your severe weather risk there for the Tuesday night time frame. And that 30% is a Tuesday night forecast there. Scattered showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday. I'll go about 50-50 with it. And then 20% could linger into the wee hours Wednesday morning there. But you see temperatures are dropping a little bit, especially the minimum temperature. There'll be a bigger drop there, 67, 62, 61 there, heading into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, respectively. Thursday's high, 85. We'll take that with lower humidity. 87 on Friday will be better than what we're getting right now with lower humidity. But then the return flow, the pattern starts to change more back to a more typical late May and early June type pattern there, where we'll probably have a little sea breeze kind of start kicking in. And a little onshore flow, so temperatures going back up both at night and maybe during the day if we'd be close enough to that strong high pressure ridge to the west of us. So that's a summary of what might happen over the next 7 days. Thanks for your support for Cenla Weather. Nick and I love bringing this information to you, and he'll be with you tomorrow streaming in the morning. He may wait till the afternoon to stream, but I'll be in the